Since I was last in this video box, a lot of things have happened. Many, I would argue, are not great. But one fun thing for me is I finished my PhD. I was told when I started this whole trying to be a scientist thing that getting a doctorate would be challenging but likely rewarding. I get to spend 5 years crawling around inside of a topic until I came out with a deep understanding of, in my case, how soil moisture and precipitation interact. But while I was trying to write this tiny book, I and my advisors and the entire lab we worked in got evicted by DOGE. I watched the postdoctoral fellowships I was applying to disappear, and every day heard of friends and researchers I looked up to getting fired or forced out of their jobs. So when it came time to make a Project for Awesome video this year, I wanted to highlight an organization that I had seen go to bat for the people and places I cared about, in a time when we especially needed it. The Union of Concerned Scientists is a national nonprofit that uses science to advocate for policies that actually solve people's problems. And when an authoritarian regime tries to dismantle US science and its own democracy, UCS fights back.
In February, Trump started to go after scientific agencies, EPA, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and we started to see layoffs at these organizations. And immediately, the Union of Concerned Scientists, since we are an advocacy group to support those scientists, we were like, this is a red flag. We need to do something about this.
That's Mark Alessi, a climate attribution science fellow at UCS, who I met organizing a 100-hour live stream to showcase the incredible taxpayer-funded weather and climate science in the US in response to the federal government trying to eliminate science funding.
Earlier in the administration, the president and the federal government released their budget, and they basically called for the complete dismantling of NOAA's research arm.
And NOAA's research arm is composed of most of the things that US weather and climate prediction infrastructure relies on, like 10 NOAA research laboratories spread throughout the country, over 30 cooperative research institutes at universities, the supercomputers and developers for the weather forecasting and climate models that you benefit from every day when you open the weather app on your phone. All zeroed out. Not to mention all the other agencies, researchers, and research that was on the chopping block in the president's proposed budget.
For UCS, we organized 3,300 scientists from all 50 states, 34 countries. We signed a letter, delivered it to Congress, being like, hey, we need to make sure NOAA is fully staffed, fully funded. It reminded Congress and the American public of how important NOAA is for just day-to-day weather prediction or prediction of extreme weather or climate events.
It is good to know the weather. It is so important to be able to accurately forecast storms and understand how our climate might change years in the future.
Taxpayers have literally funded this infrastructure for decades, which is why it is the best in the world. NOAA's capabilities are just incredible. If we lost that, it would be an abdication of US scientific leadership.
Thankfully, in January, the US Congress passed a budget that keeps funding levels at basically what they were in 2024. However, we're not getting back the 25,000 scientists and personnel at federal agencies who were fired, pushed into early retirement, or left for something more stable. And one of the premier weather and climate research institutes, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, is still on the chopping block. I feel pretty disillusioned with the federal government. It feels a bit trite to always recommend calling your representatives when we're watching militarized secret police abducting and killing people. And yet, calling your reps, showing up at lobby days, it can work.
I do, on some level, feel so repetitive to stress the importance of calling representatives. But in reality, over the last year, that is where we've had a lot of our wins. Congress has ignored the president's budget. And the reason for that is UCS supporters, folks across the United States who just care about having good weather and climate prediction infrastructure, they reached out to their representatives.
We still need good science. We still need to understand the climate because even amongst the horrors, the Earth keeps spinning. The climate keeps changing, and fundamental to what the Union of Concerned Scientists does is using science and science-based approaches to solve our most pressing problems. So let's go meet another incredible UCS scientist.
My name is Angel Santiago Fernandez-Bo. I'm a bilingual senior climate scientist for the Union of Concerned Scientists in the Western State program. Most of my work is around cropland repurposing. Here in California, we don't have enough water to sustain our current practices, so we need to find ways to repurpose irrigated agriculture to other land uses that use less water.
That can look like agrovoltaics and ecovoltaics, strategically placing solar panels to reduce ecosystem water loss, or reconstructing wetlands to reduce flooding and overuse of groundwater. These strategies fall into the bucket of nature-based solutions, working with the natural ecosystem and geography rather than fighting it.
Working with nature-based solutions is a very direct way to tackle our climate crisis in ways that can have side effects to solve other problems. Working at the systems level, understanding the whole system. So when we create a solution, that solution doesn't generate a new problem. So learning from the people, learning from the science, learning from the system is essential to be successful.
This kind of systems level research done in collaboration with the people actually implementing the solutions is why nature-based solutions can be so cool. They can be place-based and provide benefits to those who need them most. And unlike universities and national labs, the Union of Concerned Scientists is set up to do this kind of research really well.
We don't accept any money from the government, to be completely independent from the government. This gives us an advantage to react faster than, for example, other research organizations who have to apply for longer processes. In our case, we have flexibility, we have reaction flexibility. If something happens, we can direct our resources. But in general, it's not enough to only have a top-down approach. When you talk about policy, we also need a bottom-up approach that informs the ground truth from the people who are living the changes we are advocating for.
These are only a few of the myriad ways Union of Concerned Scientists is showing up right now. UCS exists to support science and do science in service of people and the planet. And if that mission resonates with you, I've got so many links for you to check out downstairs. But this video is also part of the Project for Awesome, which means you can vote for Union of Concerned Scientists right now, so that a portion of the funds raised can go to protecting science, scientists, and the planet. But wait, there's more. I'll be part of the Project for Awesome live stream with Taylor and Darcy on Saturday, February 14th from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time.
We've also got a cute enamel pin of Darcy's face that you can get as a perk for donating. And the money that we raise will go to organizations voted on by the community,
which with your help will include Union of Concerned Scientists.